Welcome back. Tactical Tequila Podcast, Episode 8. We are finally back after a small hiatus due to vacation and
it was a long
schedules.
hiatus. Long.
It was.
Not to happen again.
Might happen again.
Yeah.
Might happen again.
It's like herding cats.
It really is. Besides the fact that this place is 42 miles from my house.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's worth it, though.
I was going to say, you never hear me complain when I drive to your house.
It's always, exactly. It's always a good drink. It's always a good bite to eat, so I can't complain. So how's it been?
Good. Did a week in Mexico. Just got back last Friday. Yeah, Friday.
Well, you guys did it during the week. No weekend at all? What day of the week did you leave?
Sunday to Friday.
Got it. Sunday to Friday.
Yeah, we were there Sunday. We got there Sunday night, and let me tell you something. I guess the next day was a Mexican holiday. It was like a president's birthday or something. And man, I couldn't believe. So when you drive from Guadalajara to Tequila, as we've all done, and we see these roadside open air dance clubs, bars.
Absolutely.
Every single one. I couldn't believe the traffic.
Did you stop at one?
No, we were on a mission. We wanted to get the girls to the hotel, get checked in, get settled, and then go get some street tacos in Tequila. Because you know how it gets there. The restaurant and the hotel closes. Yeah, so you want to get into the town square.
Sometimes, though, you just want to let it loose, man. Just go off schedule.
I really wanted to stop but when we drove by one, and there was the club. The parking was 3 times bigger than the actual nightclub, right, Matt?
I mean, you're talking like a field with like 20 buses.
God bless them.
And there were still more buses coming.
And a row of traffic coming from Tequila towards like El Arenal and Atitlan, like towards Guadalajara. Like we didn't really hit too much traffic on the way out there.
No, that was good.
It was awesome.
Did you guys stay the night in Guadalajara?
So we stayed 2 nights in Tlaquepaque.
Got it.
At the Quinta Don Jose.
Driving back into the city I think our last morning we drove by. I think they have a Hard Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
On the left-hand side coming in. I'd love to stay there once.
Yeah, it's a good-looking hotel. Yeah, I looked at it again. I told the wife, I said, we could just fly here.
Stay right there.
On a Friday night, stay at the Hard Rock. Hit some restaurants, do it, a couple nights, and fly home.
Yeah, I'm looking to you guys know, of course, but I'm looking to expat when I finally get done working, and looking at some spots in Mexico. And I would love Guadalajara. It reminds me of Chicago.
Yeah, I like Guadalajara.
I love it. It reminds me of Chicago.
One of these days when we go,
Chicago's a shithole because it's 1 degree.
But seriously, when we go back one of these days, we're going to have to do a trip down to Lake Chapala, which is the largest expat, from my understanding, largest expat community in Mexico.
How far is that from Guadalajara?
Like 45, 50 minutes.
An hour. 50 to an hour, I would say.
What I've learned now is when you go to Mexico, and if Google Maps says an hour 20 from Guadalajara to Tequila, just add 15, 20 minutes.
Or longer.
Or longer.
Traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you think like, we'll just drive out 2 hours to Arandas,
Now, when you had your tours, were they set on a particular schedule, or could you just show up and
No, they were all coordinated.
They're all coordinated?
Yeah.
And you guys went to which one different? Or which one did you like the most? Which of the tours? Matt. Mike is Mike, Matt, and Ash combined. Close enough.
Honestly, like I would say 1414 was good.
That
was a new one for us. And El Tequila we did, which was new. I mean, we've walked by it. We went to the gift shop and everything else sat in the bar there. Yeah. But we've never actually taken the tour, and seeing their process and how they do it, I liked it.
I love their product.
I thought Gnome 1414, the Vianco, I was absolutely blown away by it.
What all comes out of that?
So Yayo,
got it.
which we've highlighted here before.
That's the good stuff.
Viva Mexico.
Viva Mexico.
So they had Viva Mexico at Park MGM at the Mama Rabbit.
I couldn't find it anywhere.
They had Viva Mexico there, and I didn't get it because they had Fortaleza. That's okay. And I was only paying $14 a shot for Fortaleza. And they had Viva Mexico there, and I thought about it, but I said if I can get Fortaleza.
That's what we drank when we finally did the tour and we sat down and did the sampling. It was the Viva Mexico.
How was it?
It was excellent.
Blanco?
Yeah, we did the Blanco, the Repo, and the Añejo.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with that distillery. They play classical music in the fermentation room.
Oh, what?
The science behind it is pretty amazing. It's
so it agitates the yeast.
It calms it.
Yeah,
it calms the microbes in the fermentation process.
So they play it constantly.
They play it constantly, and
while they're fermenting.
Yeah, while they're fermenting, and so the microbes. They find that classical music calms the microbes, and it allows them to digest more of the sugars, to do more of their job. And they've experimented with other music. They played rock and crazy music, and they got aggravated and didn't. It was really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got, it's an open air. It's got like a roof, but it's open air. They've got orange trees, like groves of oranges, mangoes, and they're just letting all that take part of the ferment. So that this is when I tell people, I really like Yayo. It's citrusy. It's veggie.
That's why.
There you go.
There you go.
Like blown away by it.
And while we were there, we got to meet the grandson of the original founder of the Vivanco distillery, Marco Vivanco.
Yeah. Shout out to Marco.
Amazing guy. He took the time to talk to us and even let us try something special that's coming out, which, we can't talk about what it was exactly. So.
Yeah. We took a blood oath.
Did you?
Blood brothers.
Yeah. Did you?
No, they were great hosts.
Very gracious.
Marco was very kind, and we told him, we're huge fans, and what I'm learning now in my tequila journey, and when people ask me, I can point you to great tequilas, but if you really want to get into this subject matter, get to know your distilleries.
Mm-hmm.
And usually the rule is when you open up your Tequila Matchmaker app and you look up a gnome, a distillery number, usually one or two, you're like, okay, that's usually a good sign. They're only making one or two things here, as where they're making 50 different tequilas. That's usually a red flag. Now, 1414 has got, I think, 36 on 36,
but they're all additive free.
And they are.
How big was the distillery compared to the other ones?
I mean, it's a huge.
It's a good size. Yeah. No, they're not brewing they're not doing all 36 at once. No. And we drove by the ones that are doing, like, it looks like a chemical plant in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Like 100,000 liter vats, and there's 7 of them stacked in a modern looking building. And you're like, that's pretty cool looking. It's very modern, but they're not using a Tahona stone or even a roller mill.
And those are the same ones that were in the presentation that we saw.
Right.
Exactly. And how close were they to where you were?
Well, 30, 40 minutes down the road. I mean, we drove by like the Milagro distillery, which is, it was massive, and listen, if you like that stuff, if you like Milagro, hey, I'm not bashing it. And do your thing. They put people to work in that region. They provide jobs and yeah, I get it. But they're just not able to do those things like what the smaller and medium-sized distilleries are doing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, shout out to Vivanco, Marco, and Gnome 1414. They've just got some really good tequilas.
And Juan Carlos was our tour guide.
Yeah,
at 1414.
Yeah,
got it. Yeah, I missed it. And I know our friends, Tommy and those guys were talking about going later.
They're actually going in a couple days.
Yep.
We're going for Rudy's 50th birthday.
Yeah, they had talked about
happy birthday, Rudy.
I'll have to get back down sometime outside of football season. And speaking of football, the the elephant in the room, the big thing that's happened here. P. Diddy. What in the name of God? They are getting, this is what I feel about Diddy. This is why it hit me so bad. We all knew Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson. We all knew R. Kelly was R. Kelly. I wasn't expecting the Diddy stuff. It's getting dangerously close to Ice Cube and the guys. It's getting dangerously close and I'm scared.
I saw a Babylon Bee fake article that said, Nation is shocked that a rapper might be guilty of committing the things he's rapped about for the last 30 years.
I don't know what about it blew my mind. I was like, not.
Well, again,
it's getting close to Biggie Smalls, the greatest of all time.
Well, again, he got raided, but not arrested.
Yeah.
And this might segue into a certain subject matter that we need to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. And okay, as we go into it, you have been on just as many raids as I've been on, if not 10 times more. I'm talking about on the federal side, right?
Yes.
We've been on just many federal side raids. How many times have we raided and not arrested? A lot.
A lot.
So it doesn't, that non-arrest part of the raid can go either way because we've raided and not arrested. I've done it here in Vegas with other rappers, with other big people, big names.
So there's several reasons why, as a case agent, when I was running a case, especially as a detective, before I was a supervisor, but as a detective, and the main reason I would raid and not arrest was to ruin street credibility. Because I wanted... So I remember I did a case here on a guy who's very involved in the hip-hop, Las Vegas hip-hop community. And money laundering, drugs, you name it, it was all, he touched a lot of stuff. Now, was he as guilty as, what he portrayed on social media? Probably not. Of course not. He was a little bit of a wannabe, in my opinion. Of course not, but nonetheless, it is what it is. I rated him at exactly as P. Diddy got rated. Mansion, SWAT team, armored personnel carrier.
Did this person happen to have a lot of exotic animals?
He did not have, no, he's not that.
I wasn't on that one where the person here had all these exotic animals.
No.
Ruins everything.
No. But he had, I did it to ruin the street credibility because I wanted every pimp, drug dealer, valet parker,
to think that
high-end escort. He just signed a contract with the police department. He's an informant.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's why I did it. Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah, and it almost got me jammed up, but you know what? I was doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: hey, you want to work? You want to go home? You want to go to jail? Take me to jail. And down the road. Yeah. Like, hey, I wanted to source this person out. They didn't take the bait. Now sometimes
was that a Denzel quote?
Well, maybe.
I think that was a Training Day quote.
It might be in Training Day.
He's got some of the greatest quotes of all time. But on the offense side, people are more likely to confess and plea if you've got their cell phone and laptop, especially if you have the technical capability to get inside of it. Mm-hmm. So on our side, that's what I would do. All right, I got your phone.
Yes.
I got your laptop. Let's talk about what's in it. We know what's in it. You know what's in it.
Right.
How long are we going to do this dance before you admit to what's in it?
Right.
And it works.
And sometimes we did that. We were like, we're just here for your tech. We're just here for your digital evidence.
We're just here for your pictures.
And they would be like, hey, you want to talk? And they'd be like, no, lawyer. Okay, cool, man.
We're just here for the pictures.
You're going to need one.
Yeah.
Because when I get in this phone, because, oh, what's this? You want to overthrow the government. You hate cops.
Yep.
Everything sucks. And you want to burn everything to the ground. What might also you want? No rules? Oh, what's this? Child porn on your phone?
Always.
I always said all these assholes who want to burn the system to the ground, and I get it. Sometimes the system ain't the best, but there's a process.
Absolutely.
But you can't have a 135 IQ society and expect the 85 IQs to go along with it. And, oh, what's this? Child porn. Yeah, and how many terrorism cases have been solved with child porn convictions?
Yeah, because when you don't want the rules or when you don't abide by the rules, that age is just one of those.
And you got no game. You want to you only think your virgins are in the afterlife.
Yeah, that child porn stuff does a lot. And so the other big one
let's talk about
we'll go into.
drum roll.
And we have a much different view on the whole situation. So what's yours, Matt? So I can shoot holes in
First
it.
of all, let's talk about what happened.
So for those of you who have not followed the tequila realm of what's going on, the tequila matchmaker Lodacito, Casa Lodacito was raided by the Mexican
The
federal.
Casa has a name?
Yes. Lotosito, small lot.
So they were raided by the federal Mexican government as well as the CRT anti-kidnapping agents as well, and a few others.
So basically, if you're in the tequila world and you understand that most of the tequila being made has additives, it's being made in less than traditional forms. They're using acids and, crazy modern techniques to basically create an agave Everclear. That's coming out 80% alcohol, and they add oak extract, caramel coloring, and water to it. And you go, it's so smooth. And then ding, you ring the bell on the top of it. So what you're learning, what we're finding out now in the tequila world, and what we learned when we went down the tequila journey, when we started it, saying like, we got to do something different. I can't drink anything else anymore. Yeah. Was that most tequilas have additives. Most tequilas are not, they're harvesting agaves too young. And the people who have kind of exposed what is additive free and who is certifying it is Scarlett and Grover. And they created Tequila Matchmaker, the app, and tequilamatchmaker.com. They live in that Guadalajara suburb of Tlaquepaque. Matt and I were in Mexico a week before they were raided, and we bumped into Grover in one of the bars. Mm-hmm. We said hello. We got a picture. We did the tour. We went to the house. They did the PowerPoint. We sampled some tequilas with them last summer. So you have to understand, for those of you who are new to the tequila world, Casamigos, Don Julio, the big brand, the stuff that, hey, if you like it, I don't, cool, man, drink what you want, but they're down 9%, 14%, 20% sales are down, while additive-free quality, it has 3 ingredients: agaves, yeast, and water is up. People are learning about the traditional process. They're learning about what is really good stuff. They're learning. They got raided. So Scarlett and Grover, who created Tequila Matchmaker, got raided last week.
My thoughts on it, I think, based on our discussion and, just what I've seen, online in different articles and stuff, I think it's more of the CRT and the government trying to silence them and to send a message. But I think it's a lot of corruption as well.
Yeah,
but you and I, Matt, you and I, Jay, we've had some disagreements on. Yeah, I think. I guess not disagreements, but just like I think it was the wrong move,
and I think,
and you think it's inevitable.
I think it's inevitable. I don't think it's the wrong move. I think that you send somebody a message, and if they don't heed to or hear your message, then whatever happens next happens next. I think it was a message. Now, I don't know what the message was, and I don't think any of us do. So the message could be, talking about additives, saying things that are cutting into people's
because it's just
money,
speculation.
Yeah, speculation. I don't know what the message was, but I think it's a message. And I think that we, all 3 of us, have made our living, our life in worlds where messages are sent all the time. The military is just the United States messenger. Mm-hmm. We are letting people know via the military our message.
Yeah.
And
it's the president's fuck around and find out.
Yeah, that's it. It's the message. Mm-hmm. And I think that we've all lived and worked in these organizations that are into the business of sending people the message. So I'm not saying that there's no corruption. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that there's not money loss. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is a message has been sent in an environment where messages are normally sent, and you're responsible for receiving it once receiving it. So what do you think? And this is where we kind of go back and forth in the next step. So you think, okay, the message has been sent, but it was the wrong message because it's only going to make.
I'm going to sit here and say today that the greatest thing that ever happened to Grover and Scarlett and the Tequila Matchmaker movement, the Additive Free Alliance, was the raid. Because I am a huge, first of all, how many times did people in powerful positions get pissed off at somebody and sick Ashton and his team on them?
Yeah, that happened.
And listen, you done something wrong. I got probable cause that you did commit some kind of a crime.
How many of us have had the police from driving behind us and just waiting for us to change the lane one time? I don't know if that's a black thing, but for me,
Jay-Z said 55 and a 54.
It's also a Matt thing too.
But yeah, so it happens. You're right.
Yeah, but it's like or someone talks shit on the internet and pissed off somebody with stars or bars on their collar.
Yep.
And we go out there and we enter, hey, are you a threat to this society? Are you going to blow up this Las Vegas Strip? No, crazy, homeless. And
sometimes they get offended that we're there.
And all I got on the guy is a very weak charge.
Yeah.
Misdemeanor charge.
Mm-hmm.
He might not beat the ride, but he'll definitely beat the case.
Yes.
And how many times did the person with the stars and bars go, I want to felony terroristic threats? And I'm like, slow down, boss.
It doesn't
slow down.
Yeah.
We had a standoff here in Las Vegas, in Clark County, Nevada, about an hour north of Las Vegas, where the Bureau of Land Management and those dipshits and a retarded rancher,
the Bundy case,
you just couldn't let die. You just couldn't wait for him to croak to round up his cattle. Okay, and Jay, you were there to watch it
every day. I
wouldn't do. And what did I say? What did I do in those meetings? I wouldn't do that shit if I were you.
Yeah,
don't do that. You're going to turn David versus Goliath. Martyr. You're going to make a guy a martyr. Streisand effect.
But okay, so you're right. So this is my but.
And that's my whole thing. Streisand effect.
Yes.
Don't take pictures of my mansion on the Malibu,
and then
everyone wants pictures of it.
So let's compare it to that situation you're talking about, right? On the ranch. That's an American in America with First, Second, Third, Fourth Amendment rights.
Yep.
This ain't that.
You still have rights in Mexico. It's still
I'm not saying you don't.
It's still a democracy.
I'm saying an expat doesn't have U.S. citizens' rights in Clark County, Nevada, the same that they do there.
Okay.
And
they might have citizenship. I don't know. I'm not sure, but they might have Mexican citizenship. But even I'm pretty sure in a emerging, I wouldn't even say Mexico's an emerging. Mexico's a democracy.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
I would still I got to think there's some kind of rule, like the Supreme Court here has said, look, if you're in America, whether you're here legally or not, I don't care who you are. If you're a human being on this land, you get all the rights that all the other citizens get. They're probably something
similar, you're saying.
Similar.
Okay.
Now, you might be in trouble. There might be a deportation process. Hey, you're here as a guest. You're here on a tourist visa. You done fucked up Aaron, and you got to go.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean, my whole point of this is Big Tequila is mad. We all know that certain organizations, I won't use the word, the C word, have their hooks into all things to legitimatize their money.
Absolutely.
And it might include Big Tequila. It might include Little Tequila, too. You don't know. We don't know whose money is what and what's going on. But when profits are down 9, 12, 14, 22%.
Someone has to answer to that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Someone has to answer to that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is...
But that's where everyone is now, in my opinion, is like, you've just created a martyr. You're creating a David versus a Goliath, And now what's going to happen is every reporter who writes anything involving spirits, beverages, the distribution of alcohol in the United States, you've just created a firestorm in the tequila world. We're talking about now. Mm-hmm. We were like, the day we woke up, I wake up, and Tommy from Sin City Agave, shout out to Tommy, okay? Hey, did you guys see? And I'm like, we need to get on tonight and do an emergency podcast to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because you're creating a firestorm now. You're creating something that you're almost wiser to stick your head in the sand and let them do their thing.
And one of the things that we talked about the other night when we were at American,
shout out to American.
Shout out to the Link. Good old Vegas time right there.
Promenade at the Link.
Promenade. So one of the things we talked about was the additive-free, and this was where I was coming from the other night, and we talked about the additive-free market is smaller. It's so small that starting a firestorm in this small little contained community
isn't going to do anything.
Because you're still not going to get the good shit at American.
And
which was the downfall of her night.
Yes.
Because then you got to switch to beer.
Yeah, I started drinking beer and it was the roller coaster. I was done
and
after
there
that.
You go. Before you know it.
Where's my American Express card?
I feel like that would just be a sober night for me then.
No,
Matt, bro, I know you.
Matt,
you would have had.
And fun. I know you, and I know that Ash knows you, and you know that I know that Ash knows you. That wasn't a sober night, son. No.
Well, I don't drink beer anymore. The only thing I drink is tequila, and I don't drink shit tequila. So
listen, when certain people,
maybe vodka. I'll drink vodka.
Exactly. I better stop talking. I can't.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's. And that's kind of one of the things about the podcast, and this is one of the things that I talked about that night. When most people drink when they leave the house, bars, restaurants, all these other places, there's so few places where we can get the good stuff that the firestorm is not affecting 99% of the people because they're drinking at American and they're drinking at Omni. You know, they're drinking at these places where you can't get
Lalo.
But
it's just not there.
I also think that comes down to being educated in the tequila.
But we're educated, and we couldn't find good shit.
But here's the thing, and this is where me and Jay were butting heads about it. I think you and I, Matt, are on the same page. There's no reason that every bar, for the most part, every normal bar in Las Vegas can't have a bottle of Cimarron in it.
But here,
or G4.
I agree with you.
I don't expect Fortaleza, Amori Perros. I don't expect, Fuente Seca, 21-year age.
Most people aren't going to know the difference between that and the good stuff when they go out.
But they're
only going to know what they saw the commercial of.
Which is where it comes down to the education part of it, is that those people aren't educated in the tequila world. So
that's fine.
And the more people that that the movement, this is a movement.
Yep.
That's fair.
This is a movement.
That's fair.
And the captains of the movement are Grover and Scarlett. We wouldn't be sitting here talking today if it wasn't for Grover and Scarlett. So we owe them a thank you and a little bit of a debt of gratitude because why do my eyes hurt, Morpheus? Because you've never used them before, Neo. They opened our eyes to what's happening. And guess what? What did Grover tell me? There's additives in bourbon. There's additives in this. They're putting additives in everything because Americans want everything Starbucks sugary sweet.
Well, it's not just Starbucks sugary sweet, which you're right.
And really, what is this consistent?
We want consistency.
We want consistency, even if it's shit.
It is a human nature to want consistency. They're literally giving us what we have to have in our life in order to make decisions and get by on a larger scale. That's why McDonald's is the same burger here as it is there.
Yep.
That's why these places exist. We want consistency. I don't knock the people that are giving the people what they want.
I agree with you, and maybe I've changed my position on that a little bit. If you make 100,000 liter vats of agave Everclear, which is okay.
That's
It's
fair.
by law tequila, but you're like, hey, there's a demand, and I'm going to meet it. I can't be mad at that. It's like the dude selling crack.
Okay,
No, it's capitalism.
So check
I
this
don't
out.
take it personal.
It's the same people that are complaining about that are complaining about football. Now the NFL's on every night. Now they've changed some of the rules. Now they're doing some of the things. The NFL and the television, they're giving the people what they want. Next year, there's 3 games on Christmas, which is a Wednesday. There's game. You're like, why is the NFL playing on this night? Why are they playing on Tuesday? Why are they playing on Thursday? Why are they playing in London?
Yeah.
They're giving the people what they want.
Right.
They
There's a
want
market.
and so are those other brands. They're giving the people what they want. So you've got to applaud them for it.
Because chicks in miniskirts at Omni and nightclub are not going to go to the bartender
and say, we have additive free.
You have the additive free?
Never happened.
No, they're just like, can I get a shot of Clase Azul?
Yeah, exactly.
And can I ring the bell? You have to go in the booth and ring the bell, baby. You got to go talk to the billionaire guy.
Yep.
I'm not. I get it. I totally understand that.
Now, I do agree with you. Should they have, and we talked about this Saturday night, should they have a bottle of the good shit back in the back for the people that know?
I don't even want.
Absolutely.
I just want additive free quality. Like, this is a $50 bottle of tequila.
And El Tec. I mean, these are.
Yeah.
And you went to Costco today.
I found G4 at the Summerlin Las Vegas.
$33.
33. I'm like, and I went to the manager.
Like, is this real?
I'm like, thank you. No, but I'm wearing a G4 shirt. I'm wearing a G4 shirt. I'm there to get tuna. I buy the tuna.
And so one of the things that I said about that is, and you guys know the sales structure by which they're buying their spirits. They can't get them at a big enough quantity to justify buying the quality.
And that's where I disagree with you.
They can't get them at enough quantity. So you go to Costco today, and they've got 8.5 cases, you say, of G4 at $33. Now, if
six bottles to a case, there's roughly 55 bottles.
If Omnia can get that consistently, because they're selling, $1 million worth of tequila a night, they can get that consistently, that's different. But they can't get it consistently because the distilleries are so small, they can't pump out more than 1/10 of what the big ones can.
But
they need more.
But I think it also comes down to the distributors, because the distributors are pumping these major brands.
They're pumping the brands they can make the most money on.
Yes,
that's all they care about.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why you become a distributor.
But the thing is that with the way that things are going in the additive free industry, is that they can start to make more money on these. They may be there may not be as much production.
Yeah. So, but here, and that goes back to what you were saying. The problem, and I don't mean this. There's a problem within the additive free industry, because I love it.
He's hating.
And like that, and I just told you how much money I've spent over the last month on tequila.
We need to have this conversation.
Yeah,
we need to have devil's advocate.
The problem with the additive free community is, and we've been to, you guys, between us, we've been to a lot of the distilleries. They can't produce it in mass.
I disagree with that.
If you can't produce it, we've been to the distilleries, Ash. They can't get any bigger. They can't go any faster. They can't go any
But they are.
But we toured El Tequileño.
You say is a what?
Their baseline tequila, it's a mixto.
Yes.
So that means it's 71% blue agave.
Yeah.
The rest of it is a cane sugar that they grow in Mexico.
Yep.
And guess what? It's not done in a Tahona stone. Okay, no big deal. It's not cooked in a brick oven. It's cooked in an autoclave. But guess what? It's cooked. And is it rolled in an under? No, it's on a roller mill. But guess what? They're not using acid to strip the sugars out of it.
Yes.
It is the most streamlined, economical, modern. They've been able to expand. They're able to crank out a lot of tequila, and they're able to maintain quality control. Both can happen. In-N-Out Burger is a damn good hamburger. I go to the In-N-Out Burger in Las Vegas, the one in Hollywood. I go to the one in Texas. I go to the one up in Reno. It's the same excellent burger. You can scale and maintain quality control. I don't care if the chicks
It takes a lot to do that.
But still, all I'm saying is this. When you go into a bar, what's the biggest chain bar here in Las Vegas? PT's. I go to PT's. I look. Oh, look at that. They've got Cimarron. They've got a bottle of Cimarron. I don't expect it to be wall-to-wall Fortaleza. I'm not asking for that.
All of the, and you guys met some more this trip, of all of the founders, the original families, the owners of these additive-free tequilas, which one of them gave off the impression that they just want to expand and grow? Did anybody, and the ones I've met and the ones has anybody given off the impression that they want anything other than the way their father's father did it?
Well, like
the mindset is not even in the industry.
Well, like, okay, I'll give you an example. 1414.
Yes.
Most of it is it's they have a brick oven. They don't have an autoclave. They have a roller mill, but they're expanding to put a Tahona stone in.
Yeah.
They're stepping back. They're not shutting down the roller mill. They're just, hey, this building, hey, move these around over here, and let's put a Tahona stone so we can crush the agave under a Tahona.
And that's their version of expanded. Now, compare that to what you saw 45 minutes south with how big those other vats
even
were.
Fortaleza. Guillermo is going to put a new Tahona stone across the street.
But that's one. So they go from 1,000 to 2,000.
Okay, but he can still expand and maintain quality. All I'm saying is this. I'm not saying get rid of Don Julio or don't sell Clase Azul for $3,000 a bottle. Make your money. And I really don't even care. If I go to Omnia, I'm not really going to Omnia to look for additive-free tequila. If they have some, I'll be like, dude, Rockstar, awesome. I'll have a shot of that. But if I go to we went to Chayo in the Promenade right next to Flamingo. They had El Tequileño. They had Cascanes. They had several additive-free tequilas.
What makes it so good, what makes the additive-free industry so good is we know that they are never going to go big. That's the beauty of it. The beauty of it is, so you guys know I'm a movie buff. I am always, every single one. All right. I love the independent movies because I know they're always going to be the small market independent movies. They're going to be driven by dialogue and character development and all that stuff. We love Fortaleza because we know that dude is going to always be in there.
It's a Coen Brothers movie.
Yes, exactly.
And guess what?
We know these guys are going to be there.
And sometimes I still want to go see Marvel Universe.
Oh, I'm going to see King Kong this weekend, so I get it.
That's the Don Julio 1942.
Yep. So we like this. My draw to this additive-free industry is the fact that I know they're never going to go full Cuervo. They're never going to do it.
No.
And that's what is good about it. I don't necessarily want to see this part grow. I want this part to stay the same. I want people that go out to Hakkasan to get this. Hey, when you come home and you're drinking this like we do at night, drink this good stuff. That bad stuff is still going to be there when you go out on Friday with your boys. But when you come home, try this. I don't want this thing to grow bigger than it. Prime example. I checked with USAA, right? For my previous job, we all had USAA checking. USAA is a great bank, and they always were. The last couple years, you started to see them in the Super Bowl. You starting to see them. They've grown a lot. Gronk is out there selling USAA. The customer service sucks. I now bank with American Express because USAA, which was this nice little small bank that was perfect for me and for 20 years.
And geared towards the military.
Decided to grow, and now the customer service sucks. I don't ever want that to happen to Fortaleza. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't care. So that's why I don't want to see it grow, because I just witnessed it with USAA.
But I think the vision that you have of scaling and what their vision of scaling is, like they want to add an addition onto so they can increase production, but still maintain the integrity of having that.
How many times can you do that while maintaining the quality?
Well, as many times as you can build an area and put a Tahona stone in
It's
it.
not as many times you can build an area. As many times as now you have to, at some point, you continue to build and grow. You might have to not age as long, not get your what's calls at the same time. At some point, the other parts of the process are going to guide how much you can grow. You know, it's not at some point the other parts of the process are going to guide it.
I just don't think there's anything stopping Las Vegas bars. And if you manage a Las Vegas bar,
That's fair.
hey, all we're asking for is a couple options.
That's fair.
I'm not mad at you for having Casamigos. I read an article from
Even one option would be fine.
One option.
That's
so
true.
Like, just give me
It's
one.
true.
Like I went to the
That's
Silver
true.
Knights Arena in Henderson. They had Siembre.
Good enough.
I'm happy.
Good enough.
I text Matt, hey, guess what, bro? They got Siembre.
Yeah.
Which is also done at 1414.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Matt, what is the solution between the issues with Tequila Matchmaker and the CRT? How do they fix it? Does the CRT try to take over and actually do a true additive-free branding?
I mean, technically, according to what's been put out, that's the goal. That CRT has now created a program. Do I think it's bullshit? Yeah, I do. I think it's just a way to minimize what Grover and Scarlett have done. And do I think there's a solution? Yes, I do. Could they bring Grover and Scarlett in to run that program for the CRT?
I don't know if they'd ever do that.
No, I'm not.
But I like how you're thinking.
Right, because, I mean, for the relationship that they've already built with a bunch of tequila brands, I think it's like, a couple hundred? That's 200, I think, brands.
I don't think you bring in somebody that's that divisive to run your organization.
Well, no, but what I'm saying, though, is like, as a solution, like, this is one option that they could do.
The FBI brought the ACLU in to write the dialogue.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was to keep from getting sued.
Right.
But what I'm saying is,
the FBI said, you know what? We're not going to butt heads with the civil rights organizations.
But this is what I'm saying.
Let them come in and help us.
Yes, I agree with in that scenario. You're absolutely right. In this scenario, there are a million people that know just as much as Grover and Scarlett. They don't have the canon of knowledge of additive free. You can hire somebody else that hasn't been butting heads with you for that long.
But we saw the PowerPoints that Grover and Scarlett did.
Yes.
Their testing is very, very simple.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The CRT sample test tequila.
Yeah.
And look at this. The sugar molecules are off the chart.
Yeah.
You're adding sugar additives.
They don't have what they know as experts, and they are the experts. What they know is not something that can't be transferred or known by others. So you get somebody that knows what they know and run with that with your CRT.
Yeah, I that's another viable option. And, I think that if they actually follow through with their additive-free program, then I think, they're definitely going to get pushback from a lot of the bigger brands that do use additives than not.
That's fair. And
I think this is how I look at it. You put on every bottle of tequila, yeast, agave, water. Okay? Every additive-free brand will just have a simple little somewhere on there. And if you don't have a that means you don't have just yeast, agave, and water.
Yeah.
And it's like putting cancer warnings on cigarette packs. Like, no shit. When I order the Bell, ding, at $3,000 a bottle, and the chicks bring it out with sparklers, I'm not looking for the But when I'm in Total Wine, I'm like, oh, it's got the yeast,
and I just sent you a picture of, I was in Total Wine. The bottle I got that you guys said was not going to be good, that we're going to try and we're going to make it good.
By putting it in a cocktail?
Whatever the fuck we got to do, Matt. We do what we got to do. So
drink the good
there
shit.
Are stores that do that. They say additive free. Does it meet the standards as set by Grover and Scarlett? Probably not. But they do. Some already do say that.
Sure, like I know Mark Wahlberg swears up and down his shit's additive free. Maybe it is additive free, but if you're harvesting agaves at 3 years, if you're using the process of using acids and boiling water to strip the sugar out and creating again, you don't have to add additive. It can still be just a super alcoholic. Okay, it's not additives in it, but ooh,
it's just nasty as shit. Yeah,
yeah,
I get it.
There was a picture that I saw today, and it was actually let me find it real quick.
On social media?
Yeah.
Be interesting to see next couple of weeks in California.
Yeah.
So talk to me about what you're expecting in a couple of weeks when we get there.
So real quick, it's a Patron van. So it's...
Yep.
Yeah.
And it says 100% naturally perfect tequila, distilled with agave, water, and yeast. Nothing more.
There you go.
But if you think about it, when it's being distilled, that's not when they add the additives.
So you're saying it's word semantics.
So it's after. Yeah, it's after. I think that's just a marketing scheme to get people to say, "Oh no, Patron's additive free."
And so does
listen, Patron used to be on the additive free list.
Yeah,
baseline Patron might be additive free. I was drinking it the other night with you.
Yeah,
it was like punching me hard, like alcohol.
Yeah,
I just think they're using. Are they using a Tahona? No. Are they using roller mill? Probably not. Are they using the auto or the what's the one that strips it with the? I can't think of it. The diffuser. If you're using a diffuser, if you're harvesting 3-year-olds agaves by the truckloads,
so you're saying they can still be using the simple the 3 ingredients.
Yeah, but if the sugars
the process,
if the agaves are young, they don't have the sugar complexities of the carbohydrates. The agave is, I'm reading, so shout out to, we highly recommend this book, Field Guide to Tequila. And I don't want to butcher this gentleman's name, Clayton Cizik?
Bixby.
No, not Clayton Bixby.
Classic episode. Classic episode.
But this is $20. I paid $20 for this on Amazon. I have learned so much in this book about the respect I now have for the agave. Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
And the true tequileros and the agaveros who are like really know what they're doing. This is where the good stuff is. The real good, this good stuff is coming from the agaves.
They have it down to a science.
Yeah.
It is a science.
Yeah. So like Absolutely. El Tequileño, they can have a pretty big production process. They can cook in an autoclave. Okay. It's still cooked agave. It's not using acids to strip it. They can still do a big process. It's the agaves. They're buying really good agaves that have that concentration of sugars.
And there is a finite number of really good agaves.
Yes,
so
it's true.
That's where I start talking about you can only expand so much because there are other parts of the process that prevent you from growing at the same quality. And that process and that point is really good agaves. So you can only expand so much because there's a very finite, specific number of really good agaves. And once you start to go past that number, it starts to become shit.
Yeah, and this book talks about the vicious cycle of the agave farmers and the agave planting.
Yep.
Prices are through the roof like they were 5 years ago. There's a rush to plant. All of a sudden, 5 years come down, the prices start to tumble, and now they're like, these 2 and 3 year old, let's throw them to compost they're all like some farmers will literally abandon their fields. So the CRT has to they're supposed to monitor to keep the pests from coming in and then devouring all the abandoned fields and then moving on to the ones right next door that are being taken care of. And But I talked to Fliepe Camarena from G4 about this that night we were at the party. Mm-hmm. And he said his business model, his tequila, he doesn't care what the prices plummet to. He has his agave farmers and he pays them, whether it's up or down. He pays them. So these farmers are incentivized to grow the very best agaves possible and to harvest them when they're really ready because they're doing it right.
And so we'll go back to that conversation. I know you spent a couple hours with them the other night after the G4 event.
Yeah.
Anything about him at that time or during that night and during those conversations you guys had when you fell on your ass?
I fell on my ass.
Did he say anything that leads you to believe that he just wants to make more and more and more and more and more? He wants to keep it perfect the way it is.
He wants to keep it the way it is.
And the good guys don't want to grow, which is fine. I don't want them to grow.
It's not that they don't want to grow. It's that they grow within reason
means,
and nuance.
They grow within their ability to keep the tequila perfect. And the more you grow, the less perfect you can keep it.
I disagree with that.
I disagree with that too.
Yeah.
They can't make more good agaves.
They can. They can maintain, they can continue to grow quality agaves. It requires the oversight of the Mexican government through the CRT. They have, like I'm reading in this book, they use satellite imaging,
of course,
to track agave. Mexico has to know how many agaves they have on hand.
It's the same satellites they use to track the weed, man.
100%.
Yeah, it's the same ones.
But like I read in this book, like I can go to the CRT and go, something was wrong with my tequila. They can take this bottle of whatever, and they go, okay, what's the lot number? Got it. It's on the inside there. They can type it into computer and they can track it all the way back, what barrel it was in, what room it was stored in, when it was distilled, all the way to what fucking agaves in the fields and when it was planted.
Absolutely.
That's pretty impressive shit.
Right.
Yeah. And you can only, and that had,
you can't tell me that those same guys can't go, this is the additive free sticker and these are not.
Right.
It's that simple.
Yeah. That's,
and
I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm saying, where's the money in it?
So should I tell the story of falling on my ass in front of Fliepe Camarena?
Please. This was gold.
It worked.
Gold.
It worked.
So for perspective, we had a bottle signing Friday night at Liquor Lineup. Shout out to Liquor Lineup up here at Ann Decatur in Las Vegas, where I go to get most of my stuff. They have the signing. Matt and I get there. You were at a wedding.
Yep. Down in Tennessee.
Okay, Tennessee, somewhere where black people, you told you were nervous about the trip.
You were warned, talking about shots fired.
Yeah.
You had your warning once. Yeah, I was down there.
So anyways, so we go to this bottle signing. We meet Fliepe, very, very respectful, nice gentleman, shake his hand, hello. But, not really much of a conversation. It's like, here, he's got 50 pounds of, 50 people around him. Everyone's vying for pictures. I was just happy to meet the guy, shake his hand, and, hey, I love your tequila. Next night, Tommy, Sin City Agave, Las Vegas Tequila Club, has his G4 tasting event at the
Mysterio
Bar. Down on Casino Center in Colorado, I want to say. Down in the Arts District area.
Yep.
Excellent
Still
event.
south of
Went
it,
off without a hitch. We were drinking, having a good time. We sampled G4 bottles that even Fliepe Camarena doesn't have anymore. We drank tequila. And even you, my friend, took a couple sips of straight tequila. I was impressed.
And almost shit myself.
Yeah, whatever.
So, whatever.
You must
you were starting to get into it? Or?
New.
So
flashbacks.
So we get invited to the after party at an Airbnb over in kind of the southeast side of Vegas. And we get there. We went and had a bite. You had your friend in town. You had to go do your thing.
Me and Tommy. Yeah.
We end up down at this house. And we show up, and the party's kind of going. Everyone's in the backyard. It was a beautiful Las Vegas late winter, early spring evening. Yeah. It was perfect weather, 75 degrees out, stunning weather. And all these folks, we met LA Tequila Club, Agave Lou. He's Pyro Lou. He's a firefighter out of LA. Bunch of people. Right. We met a lot of folks there.
Him and his brother do a lot for the Arandas fire department as well.
Okay, yeah, so a lot of good stuff. They're talking about future events, having some tastings. And in the backyard, in the corner, under kind of a gazebo, is Tommy, and a bunch of them are sitting by a table. And anyways, Senor Fliepe Camarena sitting there, the GOAT tequila maker. And Tommy's like, come out, Ashton, come out here, man. Come sit down. So I go grab this chair from the side of this Airbnb house. And I go and I sit down, and everyone kind of scooches in and makes room for me. And I don't know what happened, but I pushed back on this chair to kind of like finagle my way in between Matt, who's to my left, and Fliepe Camarena to my right, and the legs give out. And I flip over on my ass, and everyone is laughing at me.
And Felipe comes to his aid.
And because he's the only guy there worth a shit.
Fliepe Camarena
people laughing at you obviously aren't. I'm sure Matt was right.
He is not laughing.
That's what I'm saying. He's the only good guy in the group.
Flies out of his chair.
Matt.
Are you okay? Senor, are you okay? And I'm like, by then I'm like, what did I do? What happened? And my legs are up in the air, and I get up, and I kind of come to, and Fliepe Camarena was very concerned about me. Now, I'm fine. I'm good. Even with my back issues and this and that's broken. And Tommy's laughing his ass off. He's laughing his ass off.
Friends. Real friends.
Yeah, real friends. And Tommy goes, that'll be a great story for the podcast. So here I am. And so anyways, like, fall back on my ass, get up. I'm very embarrassed. Everyone's laughing at me. But, I take it in stride. And I go get another chair from the kitchen. I come out, I sit down. And I end up talking to Mr. Camarena for 2 hours. We're talking.
We were there for
we're like
longer than that. And it was family, it was life, it was business, like you name it. We had a conversation about it.
And that's the part of it that I love, man. And that's part of it that I don't want to see change. That right there, that person, Felipe, that love that he has for tequila, and at Fortaleza they talked about it too. The love for what sitting around drinking good tequila can do for us as friends, as a group, what it can do. That's the part I don't want to see change. I don't want to see that part go commercial.
I don't think it's ever going to change because I think that it's so entrenched in the DNA of Mexico and especially of the Guadalajara, Jalisco region.
I don't want to see that go commercial. I know this is very selfish of me. I don't ever want to go into Yard House and see fucking Fortaleza. I don't ever want that to happen. I don't ever want that to happen. I want it to be the backyard, Felipe, a couple of your friends. We got this bottle. Holy shit. We've got this good bottle. Let's drink it together as friends. I don't want to see that shit at PTs. I don't want to see it.
Well, I don't mind. Say, hey, do you have it? Yeah, we have it. It's hidden away. Or one bottle. And it's pricey. Fine. It's pricey. I don't mind seeing it. But I see what you're saying. You don't want
I don't want some
Jägermeister
20-year-old bro that just left the gym go and say, "Hey, what's that? Give me that." Yeah. No, I don't want him. I don't want him in on the secret. I don't want him in on the secret. I'm getting old, Ash. There's some shit that old guys. There's some parts to our life, and there's some parts to living that we need to keep to ourselves. I don't want those young cats. I just told you about my daughter and her birthday party. Apparently, she's doing her thing. I don't want those cats to know what we know. I want that part of our life to stay clean.
Or at least let them earn it.
Yeah.
We've earned it.
We've earned it.
Like we drank, this Terramana is fantastic. This El Padrino, wow, give me some more.
We earned it. And I don't want to see it go commercial. I don't want to see what happened to USAA banking happen to G4.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see it.
Yeah, I get that.
Going back to Mexico and Fortaleza, but to shed light on it, but we actually met Guillermo on this trip. When phenomenal guy took the time out to talk to us, showed him a few pictures of my tequila wall, and he gave him a couple of
stickers,
podcast stickers, and he goes, "Okay, I'm going to check you out."
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was a gentleman.
I don't want that to change.
We were doing the tour, and I looked ahead. We finally had wrapped the tour up, and it was in part of the Fortaleza tours. If you go to Fortaleza,
did you guys get tacos?
Of course.
Okay.
But you got to be prepared to do like a 2.5, 3 hour tour.
Yeah.
But at the end, there's Sandy's Taco Stand, which is named after the golden retriever, the lab. Yeah, there's the bar, and they have not only Fortaleza, but they have other really great tequilas that you can drink and order in your drinks. But we round the corner, I look, and I'm like, that's Guillermo Sauza. That's the goat of, the Fortaleza creator. And he was giving, I think he was doing talking to some business people or something. But anyways, just as we kind of got around the corner to the taco stand, we just kind of like waved, and he was able to kind of cue in that, he came over and said hi, took a selfie with us.
He knew that you knew who he was.
Yes.
Yep.
And I had messaged him when we did the tour back in July of last summer. I followed him on social media, and I messaged him and I said, Mr. Sauza, please don't change, don't change a thing. And he goes, we're not, maybe a little expansion, but we're not changing nothing. That we're going to keep the process and the quality the way it is. And I was very, very honored that, it's very humbling to think that the guy who could ignore me and whatever, leave me alone, messaged me.
Yeah.
And then I sent him a picture of him and I and that he took with me, the selfie. Honor to meet you. Thank you again. And then the other day I wake up and he had sent me just a picture of the agave fields. Like,
God bless America.
Man, I've arrived. Guillermo Sauza from Fortaleza just sent me a picture of the agave fields one morning.
Yeah. I don't want to. We live in Las Vegas where everything is torn down and blown up, made bigger, made to make more money every 6 days.
Yes.
Right? We're running out of shit that we can say this will never happen to. We're running out of it.
Yep.
All right. So next time we'll have the dinner to talk about in Cali.
Well, we'll cover our trip to Mexico next time.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, we didn't get really into we didn't talk about being lost up in the rural middle of nowhere Mexico. And
P. Diddy threw you off, man.
Yeah.
P. Diddy threw you off.
And we may have a guest on the next one. So,
yep, we might have a guest. We would like to give a shout out. Our tequila today is Lalo Tequila. I paid $50 from this. There's a little shop down the street from my house, and I believe it's DB Spirits. It used to be Roy's Liquors at Hualapai and DI. They got some decent prices, little mom and pop shop, but excellent tequila. This is the grandson of Don Julio. Doing it right. They're not Don. Obviously the Don Julio brand was bought out by the corporations back in the day. But if you want to know what it used to taste like, here's a little hint. It's probably a lot like Lalo, and really good tequila. Very floral, very light, and a little bit of citrus with it.
You get a lot of black pepper, the cooked agave. That's primarily a little bit of cinnamon.
Yeah, I got a little cinnamon on it. Yeah.
And when I had it, I had a little lime, a little
sugar,
whatever,
mint,
a little mint.
So it's a.
It was a very good one. I'll give you that. Very refreshing.
I'm glad you liked it. So
very refreshing.
So it's
today's drink. What's in Jay's glass today?
Jay's glass is actually a Mojito Rita.
Not a thing, but I'm listening.
I mean, it's sort of a thing.
Yeah, I had two of them. So yeah, it was a thing twice.
So it is lime juice, 2 tablespoons of Mexican sugar, and then 2 ounces of a good additive-free tequila. And I said lime? Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then mint, muddle up some mint, toss it in, and then shake it in a shaker, pour it out, and then top it off with Topo Chico.
I was making fizzy palomas this weekend.
Yeah, you said that.
See, I don't think those are a thing because anything added to a paloma is fizzy. So the squirt's fizzy, the fever tree's fizzy.
No, mine is fizzier. Como se dice en español fizzier?
Más fizzy.
So my drink this weekend was I did half a grapefruit and I gently muddled and squeezed it in, half a lime, a little bit of agave syrup. I'm trying to not drink so much sugar, but a little bit. I added some bitters. I did the Picades. It's the red cherry bitters.
Yeah.
I did a double pour of Cascanes No. 9. Which first I wasn't like, I sipped it. I was like, it punches because it's that still strength. It's 100 proof.
Well, it's not the still strength.
I'm sorry, I stand corrected. It's 100 proof.
Yeah.
It punched sipping, but in the cocktail, phenomenal. And then I topped it with sometimes I'll use a Topo Chico, but at Costco they sell this club soda called Spindrift. And there's a grapefruit version of Spindrift. And it's just club soda with some grapefruit already in it, dude. And I put that in a big red Solo cup, and I down the first one, and then I make my second one, and off to the baseball game we went, or off to the strip to meet you. That was my roadie cocktail of the weekend when the wife was designated driving me around town.
Awesome. I had literally 3/4 of a bottle of the Fulano 100 proof.
The Forte.
Batangas.
The Forte.
Oh, it was so good.
Don Fulano.
Yes, the Don Fulano.
Excellent tequila.
And then and my normal drink at home. It was really good. But
You're really on the Batanga kick.
yes.
Are you doing the Mexican Coke, or are you doing Coke Zero?
I'm doing Coke Zero at home, regular Coke on the road. So when we go to Chayo. But I did, this is the last thing I'll say, solidify. I went to Lindo again. I really don't like that tequila. I had it again just to make sure.
Yep.
Before I wrote it off. What is it? The not the Trace. The
El Tesoro.
El Tesoro.
I
had
love
another one.
So
I love it.
Horrible.
were they putting a Repo in, or were they putting a Blanco in? That's my question.
They were putting toilet water in because that's what it tasted like. It was horrible.
I love El Tesoro.
We're gonna do a blind.
We're
Batanga
gonna
test.
do a blind Batanga test.
I'm listening. All right. But this shit was bad.
And I guarantee he's going to go, nope, I like this one.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So do a G4 Tesoro.
We'll do a straight up. We'll do a G4 El Tequileño. Straight up.
The original.
We'll throw an El Tesoro in there somewhere.
Yep.
And maybe something else just to throw you off.
Yep.
That would be awesome.
And
we'll
four
do that
drinks later, you'll be passed out on the floor.
We'll do that for the next one. We'll set up a little bar right here, and we'll do the blind taste test right there.
There you go.
And then also before we leave, shout out to the Cask.
The Cask. Thank you. The last one.
In Henderson.
Oh, you did get one?
Yeah, I went up there right after I told you I was going.
So
I got their last bottle.
Oh,
Nick,
nice.
So shout out to Nick from Whiskey for Warriors, who we met at the G4 event, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he messaged us.
Yep.
Hey, heads up. Don't forget, like, they're doing a Fortaleza release. I'm like, what? I missed this. I didn't realize on my Instagram, I didn't even follow the Cask. I know the podcast Instagram did. So me and the wife are at the gym. The place opens at 11. It's like 10:30. I'm like, we gotta go. She's like, where we go? I gotta get breakfast. I'm
One
like,
more set.
You're gonna have to wait.
Nah, son.
Yeah, no.
No cool down.
Fortaleza
Cramp
first,
up.
Yeah.
Cramp
breakfast
up
second.
on the way.
Yeah. She's like, I gotta stretch. I'm like, we're stretching in the car. Let's go.
Exactly.
So we drove all the way out to the Cask, which is in Henderson, Nevada. Awesome mom and pop liquor store off of Stephanie and 215. So if you live in the Henderson area, they have an excellent tequila selection.
It's unbelievable.
Prices are super reasonable. If you go to Total Wine to save $1, shame on you. If you go to Lee's to save 50 cents, go to the mom and pop stores. They're really competitive.
But I can actually open this bottle.
Yeah, and
I don't feel bad.
Right, and they're selling Fortaleza at the MSRP.
Yep.
And yes, it's more than what it used to be, but it's not like
It's worth it, though.
It's worth it, man. And so it was limit 1 bottle per customer. I bought a Repo. My wife bought a Blanco. I messaged you.
Yeah.
I said, hey, bro, there's 1 bottle left.
Yeah.
You made it.
I made it right on time. I said, it's my last bottle. I said, oh, I know.
Yeah. So shout out to the Cask.
Yeah.
Super nice gal behind the counter. I forget her name, but she talked about the owner was opened it, I guess, after COVID. He expanded it. It used to be just beer and wine, and they have an excellent. And if you're a bourbon guy, they have some really good bourbons in there. My wife was like, "Remember all those bourbons you always used to look for, and they never had them." And
you're like, "Go stretch."
There's
time for that right now.
But they had an agave spirit there from South Africa called the Fourth Rabbit. I gotta say, she poured me a little sample of it.
I saw you had showed a picture of
$85. I'll put it on the Instagram so that people.
You show me a picture of that.
Yeah, when we release this, I'll say this is what I talked about on the podcast. It's from South Africa, from one of the valleys there. which is, Africans, very red clay, volcanic soil. They're growing agaves there, doing this really interesting. It's smoky, floral, mineral. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to go back. It was 85.
Just a little hint of apartheid.
A little hint.
Okay, yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
I took a sip and I was speaking Dutch.
Exactly. Just a little Dutch mixed into it.
It's Mandela effect.
I think they call that a little bit of Flemish.
So, anyways, I it's on my list. I think it's $85. It's not a huge bottle, so it's a little bit more pricey than usual, but it's on my list of. I've spent so much money on tequila in the last couple of weeks. It's between Mexico and here. It's been crazy. So but anyway, shout out to them.
Next time we'll get a blind taste test. We'll go from there.
Yeah, we'll do some Batanga testings for Jay.
God bless it.
All right, folks.
Thanks.
Follow us on social media, Tactical Tequila Podcast. I think there's some underscores on there. We're on all the platforms. Listen, subscribe, like. If you have any questions for us, send us a message, send us an email, figure it out, Google the podcast. It's technology. So have a great day.
And always check out our merch site, which is at www.tacticaltequilapodcast.com.
Spend money.
Get some good shirts,
hoodies,
sweatshirts. All right.
All right.
Thanks.
All right.
See you guys. Thank you.